Да, двигло сейчас, блядь, все положено.
Что, подрывать будем или что?
Several Ukrainian territorial defense soldiers managed to attack the enemy positions and captured an entire detachment of Russian troops in the Sumy region. Successful combat work was carried out by members of the 103rd Separate Territorial Defense Brigade. Our soldiers once again demonstrated strength and skill. 8 invaders chose life over inevitable death, the brigade stated. A drone recorded the operation, also providing coordination for Ukrainian forces. The Russian soldiers, hiding in the basement of a ruined building, offered no resistance. When Ukrainian troops approached, they surrendered without weapons. Russian forces continue attempts to break through the border near Basivka and Volodymyrivka in the Sumy region, with saboteur groups trying to infiltrate the region, according to Ukraine's State Border Guard Service. As of March 26th, the deep state map showed part of Veselivka and territory near Volodymyrivka in the gray zone, which has expanded near Zhuravka. On March 27th, President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that Russia is preparing for a spring offensive in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions. Russian troops are attempting to establish positions in border villages by deploying small assault groups. Once inside settlements, the enemy disperses to create tactical pressure points, forcing Ukrainian forces to divert resources to dislodge them. Ukrainian Marines and border guards continue efforts to contain these incursions. An unidentified kamikaze UAV was discovered by Ukrainian armed forces deminers in Ukrainian forests.
Два этих детонатора, там пульт управления, там еще стоит пассив допоміжний. Вот, аккумулятор внутри здесь, блядь. Двигун, подожди, то нос, корма, аккумулятор вот здесь, блядь, стоит.
Пропеллер деревянный.
Да, двигло сейчас, блядь, все положено.
Что, подрывать будем или что? Тут связи нету. Давай подорвем, да еще. Забыли его. Так, давайте с песней «Нету страха в наших глазах».
Ukrainian FPV drones equipped with thermal imaging attacking Russian assault groups. Work by the 427th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems Warthog. Drones equipped with thermal imaging have become a critical tool for Ukraine in its defense against Russian forces. These drones allow Ukrainian troops to detect enemy movements at night and through smoke, foliage, or camouflage, providing a crucial battlefield advantage. By identifying Russian infantry and armored vehicles in real time, thermal drones help coordinate artillery strikes, guide precision attacks, and ensure effective ambushes. One of the most effective uses of these drones has been in spotting Russian armor, such as T-72 and T-80 tanks, making them vulnerable to FPV first-person view drone strikes and precision-guided artillery fire. FPV drones, often loaded with explosives, have been able to disable or destroy tanks, armored personnel carriers, and even supply convoys. Infantry hiding in trenches or moving under cover at night are also at great risk, as thermal drones expose their positions, allowing Ukrainian forces to strike with mortars or grenade-dropping drones. The widespread use of thermal-equipped drones has significantly increased Russian losses, forcing their troops to adopt new countermeasures like camouflage nets and electronic warfare systems. However, the adaptability of Ukrainian drone operators and the continuous supply of these advanced drones from domestic production and Western aid ensure that they remain a game-changing force on the battlefield. Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Oleg Nikolenko responded to Putin's proposal to establish a temporary government in Ukraine under UN auspices. Ukraine proposes a temporary UN governance in Russia, starting with Vorkuta. Counteroffer: temporary UN governance in Russia, starting with Vorkuta. It seems that locals would benefit greatly from any governance other than Putin, who spends billions of dollars on his criminal war against Ukraine. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance stated that an energy truce between Russia and Ukraine is in effect. "We keep making progress. We obviously have an energy truce. We have a ceasefire in the Black Sea, which I think is almost set. The problem is that Russia is attacking Ukrainian cities on a daily basis, and Ukraine had to respond with attacks on Saratov and Engels. And guys, what is the thing with the eyeliner? Does anybody know?
More questions.
On Russia, has the U.S. agreed to those conditions that the Kremlin said were needed for that truce in the Black Sea? It included lifting sanctions imposed on Russian banks. Trump said this week that people are still looking at it.
Well, there are a couple of different statements that are floating around out there, and some of them I think are mistranslations, and some of them are not totally clear what is even being asked for. But the president has said, and he's right, that I think we feel very good about where things are. We trust but verify. We make sure that what we're seeing from one party is met by the other party and vice versa. But I think that we've made an incredible amount of progress. We have to remember that this war started under Joe Biden's administration. It has led to an unbelievable amount of death and destruction. And for the first time in almost 4 years, thanks to President Trump's leadership, we have an opportunity to really achieve a peaceful settlement. The president's going to fight every single day to make sure that happens. And of course, we'll keep you guys updated as we continue to make progress. I do think if you look at what we've talked about, we've obviously got this energy infrastructure ceasefire. We've got a Black Sea commercial ceasefire that I think is almost done. And once we get there, we'll work on the next stage of the ceasefire. Yeah.
And there was another Russian attack on Dnipro. 4 killed, 21 wounded, state emergency service reports. The massive strike caused severe destruction and fires, hitting a hotel-restaurant complex, 11 private houses, garages, and a service station. Apartment buildings and 21 cars were also damaged. Russia's signature to a so-called ceasefire. A woman desperately pleads for help in the first moments after a Russian strike on a residential building in Dnipro.
Ребят, пожалуйста, кто в Днепре, можете подъехать, помочь, люди под завалами. Это район Кирова, я прошу. Еще никого нет, только прилетело возле нашего дома.
There will be no ceasefire agreement in 2025, reports the Moscow Times. Putin's negotiator, Karasin, suggested there might be no deal this year, maybe not in 2025, or only by the end of the year. Unlike informations that are coming from the US, Karasin confirmed that during recent talks, very little progress was made. It's clear that the Russians are merely dragging out the so-called negotiations and have no sincere intention of stopping the aggression.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.